What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So today we are taking on part 2 of the protein cereal series. Now, in front of us, we've got two epic brands across the protein cereal industry. We've got Magic Spoon and Premier Protein Cereal. Now, for the sake of the beginning portion of this video, we're gonna go ahead and sidestep Premier Protein so that way we can go ahead and take a look at Magic Spoon. But if you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and check out this video here. It is a review on the RX Bar protein cereal that just came out as of late. But otherwise, let's take a look at Magic Spoon. So you're probably really familiar with Magic Spoon. You've probably seen it across Instagram, YouTube, maybe been to the website or checked it out on Amazon. But regardless, the Magic Spoon name has been around for quite some time, and with 20,000 plus reviews and a lot of those being 5 stars and very difficult to find evidence of anything else lower than that, it's pretty epic in terms of overall reputation. And on top of that, the cereal is grain-free, gluten-free. They really try and steer away from artificial flavors or sweeteners, and then also really, again, focus on the natural flavors to give life to their overall cereals. So they do have 7 different flavors and cereals, 4 of which we're gonna go ahead and take a look at today. We've got frosted, cocoa, peanut butter, and then also fruity. And in terms of the overall macros and the nutrients, let's go ahead and take a look into each one of these 4. Now, out of these 4 flavors, we've got frosted, cocoa, fruity, and peanut butter. Peanut butter sitting on the higher echelon of calories at 170 calories. And then we've also got frosted and cocoa sitting on the lower end at 140 calories. Now, it's pretty amazing to see the 140 to 170 calorie difference. Just really, again, your average cereal is gonna run you about 140 to 150 calories. And not to mention, a lot of those average cereals are not gonna give you the low carb count as well as the high protein count. And on average, again, these Magic Spoon cereals will run you about 13 to 14 grams of protein. So in a nutshell, Magic Spoon is gonna give you a pretty epic cereal. It's gonna be grain-free, gluten-free, 0 sugars, gonna use natural flavors, and also is gonna give you a low carb and high protein intake. So pretty epic overall. But if you take a look at the price tag, you might have a little bit of a sticker shock. So being that this was a review and I really wanted to get into the nitty gritty of this Magic Spoon cereal, I picked up 4 boxes off of Amazon, cost me about $43 in total, including shipping. And then I realized that instead of picking variety, I picked fruity flavor, but I want to be thorough with my overview in the video. And so I picked up another 4 set of boxes of variety flavor, and in total spent a little over $80 on cereal. Let me repeat that, $80 on cereal. So if you want to help your boy out, smash that thumbs up, comment down below, because this cereal was magically expensive. All right, on to the fun part. Let's go ahead and dive into how these bad boys taste. So we're gonna start off with the fruity flavor, but just to give you guys a frame of reference, I did have the fruity flavors with me for about a week or so, and to be honest, I dove into it. I wanted myself to have a few days just to kind of sit and sink into the overall flavor, the texture, and just make my own decision on whether or not I thought this was worth it. Yep, smells like Fruit Loops, Fruity Pebbles. Smells definitely on point. So 1 serving of this Magic Spoon cereal is 38 grams. $38 grams, decent sized bowl. Got the milk in, got the cereal. Let's go to Chowtown. Cheers. Thoughts are still the same. So fruity, I've had again for the last week or so, and I've tried it a number of times and really have tried to really like the cereal. I just have a really hard time with it. So overall flavor, again, because they are using natural flavors, it's not as distinct as what you would normally get with Fruity Pebbles or even Fruit Loops. The texture is there. I think the texture is there in the beginning portion, when you initially bite into the cereal, but flavor-wise, diminishes with pretty much every bite into the cereal. And on the tail end, you really get something that's just very sticky. I have cereal that's stuck all over my teeth. I probably would relate this more so towards a Reese's Puffs type of experience in terms of just how you're biting into the cereal. At the same component, in terms of the overall consistency, I think because of the milk protein isolate or the whey protein concentrate that they use, you do get a little bit of that flavor on the tail end. So if you're very, very particular about how things taste or just the overall texture, I'm gonna say that this may or may not be the cereal for you. But otherwise, overall, I'm probably gonna rate this as maybe a 6 out of 10. Kind of smells like Frosted Flakes, not completely, but I imagine that's what the play off of Frosted is. But all right, let's go to Chowtown. Cheers, guys. So sometimes you wonder just like what the whole process is when it comes to creating the flavors, because this doesn't taste anything like Frosted Flakes. If that was what they were trying to go after, I'd probably say it's closest to maybe Kix or something that's like a little sweeter, maybe like a Cheerios. But if that, not the biggest fan of this flavor. Overall texture and consistency is very much the same. It just gets all over your mouth. And to be honest, I think the texture, it almost kind of reminds me like I'm chewing on plastic, and that's probably from the whey protein or the milk protein concentrate. It just, I'm not the biggest fan. But we poured some cereal, we poured some milk, we're gonna chow down. You know what this reminds me of? This legit reminds me of like, if you actually took a Rice Krispie treat and put it into milk, this is like what you would get. I kind of get like the essence of like marshmallows and Rice Krispies. I have no idea why. It's probably not gonna be as epic, but that's kind of the overall flavor that I'm getting from this. But overall, I'd say probably a 4 out of 10. All right, we're going with Coco. Oh, snap. Can't get my hopes up on this one. All right, so we got the Coco. It smells freaking delicious. It smells absolutely like Cocoa Puffs. I'm excited. Now I'm curious to see what they actually flavored this, because it smells really good. So tapioca starch, cocoa powder, natural flavor. Okay, so we're not gonna get a whole lot out of that, but we've got Coco Flavor up next. All right, cheers. Oh my goodness, I wanted it to be there. So overall flavor profile, not fully there, and you can just tell that it's like right on the cusp of like a Cocoa Puffs flavor. Really, you get a little bit of a bitterness, and I imagine because of the cocoa powder, maybe some of the natural flavors, but otherwise, it's so on the cusp. I'm gonna go ahead and rate the flavor as a 7.2 out of 10. Let's just say a 7 out of 10. But otherwise, overall texture and consistency, I do think, so I did let the cereal sit for a little bit just to kind of soak up the milk, and it does make the texture and the consistency a little bit better, in my opinion, compared to the other two where I was just like digging in right away. And it's not as plasticky or sticky to the teeth as what I was experiencing before. And maybe because I've already had a couple of bowls already, but otherwise this definitely is a lot nicer just to consume and kind of take down if you let it sit in the milk for a little bit. But otherwise, 7 out of 10 in terms of overall flavor. So close. Let's go ahead and take a look at peanut butter. All right, we're down to the last one. We've got peanut butter, milk in the bowl, cereal is ready to go. Cheers. Can't do it. That is quite the interesting peanut butter flavor. Overall, 2 out of 10 for the peanut butter flavor. Definitely on the lower end compared to the other three. So again, the experience really is, you're kind of hit with that peanut butter essence on the front, and then a little bit of salt, and then it's left up to your imagination to keep that peanut butter flavor going. But otherwise, if I had to make a recommendation out of the 4 that we tried today, Fruity and the Cocoa would definitely be on top. They just give a way more comprehensive flavor profile, and very similar to what we've tried as a child, and similar to the Fruity Pebbles or even Cocoa Puffs. Magic Spoon, you definitely do a good job with your marketing. So for somebody who's been in the marketing industry for the last 15 years as a profession, digitally across the board, hands down, one of the best experiences. The website is absolutely killer. It gives off a very great reputation. Even the packaging itself, I find it super fun. It really gets the point across in terms of the nutritional value and what you're getting from this product. A couple of the gripes that I've got with this is the fact that 20,000 plus reviews with 5 stars a piece definitely makes it known that the product is freaking epic. And I did have some pretty high expectations going into this review. Unfortunately, definitely not were there. It just didn't really quite hit. So from that extent, the second component really is the overall price. And I imagine, with the cost of all the marketing and the efforts that goes into that, building out the brand, a lot of that cost and the expenses are being brought down onto the consumer. So $10 a box, essentially $40 for 4 boxes. It's quite steep in my opinion. For those who really value cereal and having that in their diet consistently, and really trying to get their extra dose of protein and low carbs, this really might do the trick. And so it might be extremely valuable for somebody of that nature. For me, I probably won't be purchasing this anytime soon. On to Premier Protein cereal. So this bad boy right here, I'm gonna be a little bit biased, but it is my favorite protein cereal. Now, with that being said, it's super easy to access. Most Costco's do carry this. I will say the last few months, it's been a little hard to find. So I actually had to have this one shipped out from California. But otherwise, in terms of macros, price, everything is very cost effective and very efficient when it comes to nutrition. So let's go ahead and take a look at the nutrition and the macro breakdown. So you can find Premier Protein cereal over at your local Costco, and it's gonna run you about $13, $14 and some change, but otherwise you're gonna get 2 whole bags, and in total weight, you're gonna find net 30 ounces or a pound and 14 ounces. Now, with that being said, the total calorie and the macro breakdown, you're gonna look at per serving 180 total calories with 5 grams of fat, 14 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of protein. So very competitive across the board when you take a look at Magic Spoon or even RX Bar cereal, or even your everyday average cereal. So with that being said too, this is the only flavor that Premier Protein cereal carries, which is the mixed berry cereal. But outside of that, let's go ahead and dive into taste. All right, time for a taste test. Cheers. That is crazy. I didn't even really think about that. So right off the bat, really, there is a tremendous difference in terms of overall texture and just the crunch and the way that it just sticks to your teeth, or at least lack of. This really breaks down like your traditional kind of Frosted Flakes or any type of flake type of cereal. And so for me, honestly, this cereal, again, hands down wins the battle in terms of the protein cereals. I might be a little bit biased because I've had this previously and I really enjoy it. But at the end of the day, just really trying to stay as objective as possible. Compared to the Magic Spoon, you'll notice a tremendous difference in just overall the consistency of the product. So outside of that, it is something worth to note that the proteins being used are slightly different because the blends are different. And I imagine that makeup is gonna help with the makeup of how the flakes are kind of crumbling in your mouth as you're chewing throughout the process. So, with that being said too, Premier Protein cereal also uses natural flavors to kind of help bring out some of that, the berry or the mixed berry essence, but otherwise it isn't as strong as your everyday cereal. So I don't think that's something that most folks would probably expect, especially with the Premier Protein. I think if you're very familiar with the RTD drinks, the flavor is very strong, or you get some pretty decent notes out of that. With the Premier Protein cereal, it is on the lighter side, but you do get hints of it to where it's enough that'll last you from the front to the end or the finish of the actual bite. So for me, I absolutely love it. One of the gripes that I do have with this, something that I also noted in the RX Bar cereal, is the lack of actual berries. So in the RX Bar cereal, the strawberry version, there are chunks, there are massive chunks of strawberries. So that right there, you can probably see there are no dried berries, and it's, to be honest, looking pretty glim. But outside of that, in terms of overall flavor, it stays consistent, and really, in terms of overall texture, it's gonna give you pretty much very, very close to your traditional cereals. So what are we gonna rate Premier Protein cereal? I'm gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10. So I absolutely love the Premier Protein cereal. I think they do a great job in terms of overall flavor, texture, and consistency. I do think there is a little bit of work to be done in terms of the flavor, and then also maybe kind of refining the texture component. But if I had to compare it to Magic Spoon, definitely taking the win on this one. But outside of that, if you guys have tried Magic Spoon or have tried Premier Protein cereal, I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on which one wins out. And if you guys have only tried Magic Spoon or Premier Protein cereal, what have your experiences been like with them? Again, for me, Magic Spoon, I had very high expectations just based off of the branding and the presence on social media, and unfortunately didn't quite hit the nail on the head for me. So again, would love to hear your guys' experiences, but we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to flex on that subscribe button, give this video a big fat thumbs up, and until next time, I'll see ya. Peace.